Saturday real estate weekend roundup around the grounds, live with Billy and Glenn. We're going to tell you the facts, the figures, and the feelings. Another Saturday in real estate. Good afternoon, Sarge.
Good afternoon, Billy. Here we are. We're at the Empire State Building. Are we, Billy?
DY's Empire State Building.
DY's version of a New York penthouse. We're actually at Billy's brand new baby. Billy, tell the viewers where we are.
Yeah, so this is property that you're actually seeing before realestate.com, before our pre-market, before any buyers have been through yet. We're sitting in the Sky Garden on level 15, Meriton, DY, center of the universe, and this is a pretty special property coming to market for the week ahead.
Yeah, this was a really important development for DY and for the Northern Beaches. It was a development that took a lot of time to come through. It's a lighthouse development, award-winning development for the best medium-sized development in 2018.
Yeah.
This is one of the best Harry's ever done. Well, it was awarded that. 363 residential apartments, huge Woolworths, gymnasium, plus lots of restaurants in there as well. And it actually created a town square for DY.
Yeah.
20 years actually in the making. I spoke to a town planner in 1998. I don't think you were born then, Billy. Billy probably wasn't born then. And they envisaged high-rise in DY. The highest level you could build prior to this was about 5 stories.
Mm-hmm.
And this is 16 stories. And it's just been a fantastic success.
Yeah.
A lot of people on the beaches have moved into these apartments, selling their family homes. What that then means is young families have a home to go into and a roaring success. And Billy has a penthouse unit in there. None of these 3 bedrooms. I don't think there's been any sales, resale since 2018 above level 14.
Yeah, and this is one of one. It's Meriton's largest single level apartment. It's the only one with this beautiful Sky Garden, which has this bespoke 1.8 meter glass wraparound wall for protection and privacy and just all round safety. This will be coming on in the week ahead. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 2 car, panoramic views all the way around. You've got city views, water views, headland, long reef headland views. So very, very special. And believe it or not, this was the one that this was Harry's choice. Harry Triggervoff was leaving aside for himself.
Right. Yeah. Look, there is a level 16, but that is a 2-level penthouse. So yeah, we're very fortunate to be able to represent this property. And we'll talk about listings of the week, but I think you know where we're gonna go. Numbers today, Billy. What were they like around the grounds in the Northern Beaches? Open numbers.
Busy. I think the busiest was 19 groups. Team Lisa, great result, but certainly your 2 bedrooms even averaging between 10 and 15.
Yeah. It's been on the market. We've had a couple of offers. We just haven't got there yet. I see a sale coming. Probably in the next 4 to 5 days. Lisa had 19 through, circa 980,000 2-bedroom.
Yep.
Wheeler Parade. That's 1 street off the beach. Really great buying. We went through that on Monday, Billy and I and the team. Lovely sunny apartment.
Yep.
Just light. North aspect with a westerly aspect as well. Sort of L-shaped balcony wrapping around. So great property. Rentals numbers were pretty strong across the board, and we'll talk about mental rentals. Billy, favorite property for the week? Surprise.
Yeah. Without being biased, it is the one we're sitting in at the moment, and I'm really, really excited to just share this with the community, because this is something that a lot of people haven't seen DY from level 15. A lot of people haven't seen apartment living like this, and I say that for the whole of the Meriton complex. You can't really fathom sometimes having 200 local shops on your doorstep. When you need some milk for the fridge, you're in your elevator and you're in Woolworths. It's a different way of living, so people move on and enter into a new chapter of life, and I think they do that with Meriton.
Well, this was signed off by the planning minister, so the process is you have properties, you put in the DA or you have a consenting DA.
Yep.
It just goes through. You might not get that through and go to Land and Environment Court, and then you challenge the ruling on that, and then it goes to the Minister of Planning and Development, and he signs off on it. He says, you know what, I've looked through it. It's a development of significance, and it should go ahead, and it did. Billy probably can't remember, but there were people driving from Cronulla and St Ives protesting because they were worried it was in their backyard. But it was an old commercial site that had Waltons in there and a few butchers, and it had an op shop and all this. It was pretty run down.
Yep.
And then it's formed into this magnificent development, 2 swimming pools in there, 363 odd residential properties, 200 shops around the area.
Yep.
And not all of it was purchased by downsizers, but a lot of it was, and it freed up maybe 100 homes in the area for new families to move in.
Yeah.
So great development. Beeline bus stop right on your doorstep. That development and the one across the road, Carlisle, which is around 100 units, 400 units, all very close together, meant that we got an express bus, double-decker bus, into the city, servicing the Northern Beaches.
Yeah, 7 stops, 30 minutes.
Yeah, so tick, tick, tick. For everyone on the Northern Beaches. Traffic got a bit crazier because there's maybe 400 more cars in DY.
Yep.
But that's just progress, unfortunately.
Favourite sale of the week, Glenn?
What was their favourite sale?
I'll go quickly whilst you're thinking. Team lease again, Xanthony. Great result for a little 1-bedroom. This is a particular apartment where we had it on the market about 6 months ago. Struggled to get the result we were looking for. Educated the owner and said, look, why don't we consider putting a tenant in there short term for 6 months? So we leased the property and brought it back to market with a rental income, and an investor snapped it up at a level that the owner was over the moon with.
I like that. Anthony worked 2 campaigns on that.
Yep.
Owner wasn't out of money because they had a tenant in there.
Yep.
Refreshed it, changed the marketing, put it back on. And investors are entering the market now. We're getting, this is a sad thing to say, but a lot of people, are getting their inheritances with people that own, properties that are unencumbered.
Yep.
And looking to invest. They've seen over the long term what property's done. My parents purchased a home in Beacon Hill for $34,000. And it's not worth $34,000 now. Homes in that street go in the $2 million mark, and they've seen that over a course of a lifetime. Yeah, just what property can do. So that was a good sale. Listing of the week, yes, we got Billy's landmark lighthouse. Rentals, Billy. What's happening with rentals? Are they mental?
Well, the team have certainly said it's settled a little bit. Not just a case of a little bit more stock, but I think people moving into these colder months get a little bit more reluctant to make a move. We generally do see the warmer months, particularly for rentals, makes things a little busier, not so much affected on the sales side of the business. But property is sitting around just a little bit longer, certainly still balanced, but making it easier for a move.
Yeah, well, I was talking to Brunker today. So Brunker, our most senior property manager, head of property manager of the year.
2020?
Probably property manager of the year
every year.
Yeah, but you can't win it every year, unless you're a dictator. So Brunker was in today. because the whole team was out showing property. So a few more properties around. Tenants have moved back home. Some have moved back overseas. Some have moved into smaller properties.
Yep.
Some have purchased properties. So we had about 35 properties for lease. That was as low as 2 or 3 a few months ago. So more stock, you might be able to negotiate a more affordable rent.
Yep.
And landlords might be less likely to look for increases. So it might ease a little bit that cost of living in rentals for tenants.
Yeah.
Once again, if you're looking for a rental, open 7 days, will be open over the long weekend. Just contact our rental team. If you can't get them, Billy and I can always help.
Yeah, absolutely. Barbecue bits topic.
Barbecue bits. It's you go, Billy.
I had I think an easy and a quick one today at an open home. A buyer who's been in the marketplace quite a while, saying, "What do I do to make an offer? And when do I make the offer? Do I do it before or after I've gone through a contract and strata report with my solicitor?"
Yeah, look, that's really interesting, Billy. How you make the offer is the way you feel most comfortable as a buyer. But the most important thing is you make the offer.
Yeah.
Don't sort of think, well, they won't take this, they will take this, and don't over strategize what you're going to do. You might spend all this time running internal dialogue or practicing with your partner. They'll say this, I'll say that. They'll say this, I'll say that, and these scenarios never come up. So I always think, look, have a look at the strata report before you make an offer. If it's not available, then make an offer subject to it. In terms of getting the contract reviewed, if you can just read a basic contract, and I'll explain this. So you go for an apartment, you go out to the apartment, there's a tenant in there.
Yeah.
That contract will have to have a lease. So you can make an offer, you can read the contract, and it's pretty easy to read, what sort of lease it is. Is it still under a fixed term?
Yep.
Or not under a fixed term? Has the agent told you the truth on that? If you read the strata report, then you'll get a good idea of the history of the building, the health of the building, and also is the agent telling you the right strata figure, the right quarterly figure? So all that information that will affect you.
Yep.
If you want to move in and the agent said, yeah, the lease is expired, meaning there's no fixed term, you can move in 30 days. That will be in the contract with the lease. If the agent's told you there's no special levies coming up and the strata's $1,500 a quarter, that will be in the strata report. So you can make an offer pretty confident based on the information there. Reviewing the contract, most contracts are written to the buyers, to whoever's writing them. So if the contract's written by the vendor, solicitor, it will be biased towards the vendor, but not a great deal. Nothing to really, really worry about in there. So I would make an offer on a strata property after I've read the strata report and after I've just layman's terms read through the contract. Okay, there'll be a settlement date. If there's a tenant in there, there'll be a lease.
Yep.
And there might be a few special conditions.
Yep.
That's what I would do. I wouldn't engage my solicitor because you're engaging more money, more time. I'd see if my offer got accepted first, and then I'd just have the solicitor finesse the contract. On a home, if you're buying a Torrance-style home, I'd read the building report.
Yep, have a quick look. And sometimes these are available on hand. Sometimes they're at small deposit, $29 or so for a strata report to download it, get a preview, and then a second installment.
What would you suggest, Billy? What do you think?
I would start with a text message or an email. I'd put forward my name, the price.
Really good, Billy.
I'd put forward the terms, so whether I need like a longer or a shorter settlement, wherever I'm a bit flexible, and just a call off period or whether I can go unconditional. If you're in doubt, use the cool off. It is a standard clause. 66W or a waiver of a cool off is progressing through your due diligence at a much quicker rate.
So we're using a lot of real estate terms. With a contract in New South Wales, what are the two options you have, Billy, when you sign the contract and when the property has to exchange? Can you explain cool off and 66W and unconditional?
Well, if your property is for sale by negotiation and there's a price guide and it's private treaty, meaning the opposite of an auction, then it's generally standard to have a 5-day cool off in your contract, unless your agent has told you otherwise. So a 5-day cool off means you've got the benefit of 5 business days to work through your due diligence and your finance once you have exchanged, meaning you've signed the contract and paid a 0.25% deposit. That's a 5-day cool off.
And then what happens if in that 5 days you say, hey, I didn't get my finance, or I had a bad dream about the property?
If you do choose to rescind and go back on your offer, then you do forfeit your 0.25% deposit.
So that's non-refundable.
But for $1 million, it's the benefit of about $2,500 for the benefit of exclusivity over the property for 5 days. The owner can't change their mind, can't accept a higher offer, can't back out of the deal, but you do as the buyer have the flexibility to do that.
Yeah. So, and then with an unconditional contract, Billy?
Unconditional, sometimes you find that in an auction process, the owner will look at only offers presented with a 66W, which is a certificate given by your solicitor waiving your rights to the cool off. That means there's no cool off, no 5 business days grace period. The property is exchanged, signed contract, 5 or 10% deposit paid, depending on what's agreeable, and the property's sold.
Yeah. So they're the sort of 2 ways you can buy. I think what Billy said, text, email an offer, full name, whoever else is buying the property, any conditions if you need longer settlement, shorter settlement. If you require a 5-day cooling off, often your bank will ask for that, so that they can make sure the values stack up. And whether you need a 5 or 10% deposit. And I think just make that offer. Make that offer. You're not bound by anything until you sign the contract. Okay. Make that offer. The agent will come back to you relatively quickly, yay, nay, or whether there's going to be a counter offer, and then you can move on for that.
Absolutely.
I think that's a really, really good strategy. Lisa Novak is a firm believer. Just make an offer. Make an offer. Absolutely. See where you sit.
Get the hypothetical numbers out of your head. Get them onto paper. And get some instructions.
Because just what you're thinking about, oh, is this enough? Is it too much? The owner has the same thoughts. So the owner can see where their property lies with an offer as well. So that's what I would do. What did you tell the people, Billy?
Yeah, that is exactly that. Get it, get a text message or an email together. Get it at a price you feel comfortable with. You can make your own strategy on that, whether you start at the price guide, start higher or lower, and then you see what the vendor's instructions are. You've got to remember, we're not the people that are necessarily making that decision for a vendor. So we're here to present that feedback forward. Yeah,
I always like it too. Like if someone's put an offer to me in writing and they've read any documentation, strata report, building report, they've spent $49 to buy those items, I can go to the owner and say, look, these people are doing everything necessary to sort of buy the property. They're as serious as one can be without actually signing an unconditional contract. And I can sort of vouch for you as an agent. If I'm at an open and you just say, oh, Glenn, I'll pay $1 million, tell the owner, and I tell the owner, look, they said to me in an open, they'll pay $1 million. They haven't done any due diligence on the property. They said they'll do that after their offer's accepted. You can see how that's like a weaker form of an offer.
Yeah.
There's less consideration in there. There's less thought. If you haven't seen the property and you put in an offer, well, that's even weaker still. You know, you could remember that German kid, Schneiser, on the internet, you know, because you couldn't get it to work. That was a meme a few years ago. Steph and I always say it could just be a fat kid in Germany sending us an offer, you know. So see the property, check out any faults or with the property through the strata report and the building inspection, make a considered offer in writing, and then either buy it or start the negotiations. So that's probably
wise words.
Why? Yeah, you don't just sit on a keyboard at home when you see it and say, "I will offer this," or we might think you're the strudel eating kid in Germany.
Glenn, what is on for the weekend?
Tomorrow, fantastic lunch is planned at my sister's house.
Lovely.
We're already making food for that tomorrow. My mum will be there. The grumpiest man in Sydney, Brad Higgs, won't be there. He's up at the Olympic trials with my nephews.
Wow.
This Olympics is probably a little bit too close. They're 15 and 17.
Yeah.
So LA will be what they're going for. But it's one of those things that's great to be asked and qualified. One of them's already swam for Australia in the junior dolphins. I don't know what a junior dolphin is, but he swam in the junior Commonwealth Games, and the other one's swimming in the junior dolphins at the age open water. So we're very proud of them. And then on Monday, the great Isabel Higgs is doing a commercial for DRURY bikes.
Wow, that's very big.
Yeah, so they did one. They got about 15,000 views on Instagram. So it's Proud Parent Productions. Billy, I always had, this is where it gets a bit stressful for me. Like all those kids, I've got them on the straight and narrow, and you're a very charming young man, but you do like going out, Billy, and it always worries me.
No, look, I think this weekend will be a bit quieter. Maybe even a spa or a sauna down at Manly Pools.
Okay.
And maybe a dinner out. Yeah, maybe a few laps, but I do like to take it a little bit easier. Just sit in the hot bubbles.
Well, you had a big quarter last quarter. Invigorate yourself. Well, I think we've got on Tuesday, which is the old Monday, because we've got a day off. I think we've got 6 or 7 new properties.
Yeah, got a lot
coming up. So we'll need you at your very, very best to sell all these, Billy.
I've got a new suit coming in.
From Thailand?
No, from the city.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so very, very exciting. I'll be looking my best on Tuesday.
Okay, Billy. We'll hold our breath.
Have a good weekend, guys. Have a lovely long weekend and celebrate the King's birthday.